Previously on What If Mars was habitable? Mars was habitable and then it wasn't because magnetosphere. In this timeline, it keeps it. Life forms, including humanoid and dragonoid-like creatures, appear. They're also intelligent, by the way. A volcano explodes, an ice age happens, da-di-da-di-da. This one dude I definitely didn't name after a How to Train Your Dragon character. Hiccup teaches a bunch of people how to train the dragon. Wait a minute. A revolution happens, the tribes unite and expand, and a few more countries spawn in. And that's what's happened so far on What If Mars was habitable. Hello lads and lasses, or I guess just lads. The lasses don't tend to really like history, do they? Today we are now on episode 2 of What If Mars was habitable. So today we'll be starting off with the purple team over here. They will first begin their expansion over to this western peninsula over here, and then make their way up towards this lake over here. They will also expand towards the southern area over here, along with the eastern southern area over here, until it looks something like this. Next, we're gonna move on to the green team over here. They will expand more into this island up here, moving along the coast over here all the way to the east. They will expand more towards the north as well, and by the end of their expansion, they now own half of this island. They will also expand more towards the east over here by this lake, and then also more towards this southern area over here until it looks like this. Next up for expansions, we got this blue team over here. The blue team will focus their expansion more across this lake over here, keeping close to the coastlines, and they'll finish expanding all the way over here. They'll also expand more towards this eastern area over here, continuing their trend of keeping close to the coastlines, as well as expanding over here by this area as well. And then this is what it fully looks like. Next up, we'll have a few new more countries forming. We're gonna have this turquoise country form around this lake, and it's gonna wrap all the way around this lake over here, and then expand outwards a little bit. And we'll have another settlement form around the middle of nowhere area over here, which will look something like this, which will also be a pretty big country. As you can see, this new country that has formed is pretty big, and it may even be able to rival Berg over here. That being said, Berg is still much bigger, it's the original country, and it also has water access, where this country over here does not. We'll also have two new countries forming, which will be this gold team over here and this brown team over here. And then we will give them all capitals. And here they all are. Moving on now back to the original country, Berk, and they are currently experiencing some political instability. During the revolution, one of the chief's friends was the son of one of the 4 tribes chiefs that was killed during the revolution. The original plan was for that not to happen and for it to be a peaceful revolution. However, things fell apart during the conflict, which led to that chief being killed. The chief's son was offered a role in the oligarchy that was formed, and he accepted it, and then used that to start to gain power over time. Now, the chief of Berg has heard rumors for a while of his friend planning on betraying him. However, he made the mistake of not believing them, because before the revolution, him and his friend weren't just friends, they were like brothers, and the relationship was iconic. Think Megatron and Optimus Prime at the beginning of Transformers 1 before everything went downhill. Eventually, over the years, the chief's friends' anger towards the revolution builds, and then eventually he slowly starts to gain political power over time, because a lot of other people also lost a lot of people during the revolution, and he used that to gain their political support. Now, the oligarchy system that they have set up is not set up for elections, and it is assumed that once the chief of Berk dies, then his son will replace his spot in power, which is also the same for all the other oligarchy members. However, this prevents another person other than that family from taking control of Berk. Because he can't be democratically elected into power, the chief's fan, who I'll just refer to as the leader of the revolution, decides to gain more and more political power, and then eventually starts a revolution. We first start to see the revolution break out at the area where the former chief was, because he was a well-respected chief in that area, so obviously the people who still remember him are gonna rebel against the new government. We'll also have some resistance areas pop up over here, and over here. The revolution spot closest to the capital quickly gets submitted. However, revolutionary forces start to gain a lot of traction around this northern area over here, as well as this area over here. More areas start to pop up, and then the revolution keeps on getting worse and worse. Eventually, the revolutionaries start to spearhead towards the capital, slowly but surely. And then the chief of Burke agrees to have a one-on-one duel, and then the leader of the revolution and the chief of Burke agree to have a one-on-one fight to settle the revolution. The battle between the chief of Burke and the leader of the revolution is extremely intense, and the revolutionary wants to full-on kill the chief of Burke. However, the chief of Burke, because they used to be friends, tries to submit him non-lethally, and eventually comes out on top of the battle. And then, as to not kill his former friend, he then decides to banish him away from Burke, along with all the other revolutionaries, to which he agrees with, and then most of the revolutionaries flee Burke. Despite that, though, there still are large pockets of resistance left in Burke. However, they're all decentralized without a central leader leading the revolution. And then eventually they're all picked off by Burke's government, leaving left a destroyed but still unified Burke. After the revolution, Burke is left devastated, and because of that, their population has declined extremely. And because of that, they don't need as much hunting land as before to support the large population, so they end up simply abandoning the territory that they've expanded into since they no longer need it. And then this is what Burke is reduced to after the Civil War. As for the revolutionaries, what they end up doing is regrouping around this area, and then they go searching for a new place to find a home. And then eventually they come into contact with the purple team, and then the leader of the revolutionaries ends up marching into the purple team, finding someone who is willing to betray the purple government, and then got intel on where the capital is, and then they use their intel to launch an coordinated attack on the capital. And then since the purple team doesn't really have a military, they had minimal resistance, and then they were able to successfully subjugate the people and take full control over the purple team. The leader of the newly established red team establishes the first full dictatorial control over the country, and then he swears an oath that his newly established country will one day go back to Burke and bring it to its knees. Pause. And that is where we're gonna end this scenario for now. Thank you all for watching this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on notifications to be notified about all future videos coming up. Here's a list of all videos that I've planned. After a lot of delays, I'm finally getting started on the Wagner Rebellion video, as well as working on the What If Everything Went Perfect for China video, so expect that to come out soon. I'm also excited to announce that I'm now starting a new short series called Future World Borders, which are my predictions on what the future world borders will be like. It's a really cool series. I'm about to post another video, hopefully in a few more hours. They're very easy to make, so yeah. I'm really excited about it. There's actually a series similar to this that was made by a YouTuber called GeoFacts, which is actually, believe it or not, how I ended up getting into alternate history because of how the YouTube algorithm works. And yeah, that should be it. Sorry for making the video a little bit shorter than I expected. The plan for this series is to usually make videos between 10 and 20 minutes long, so I'll try to keep that in mind for the future. Don't get anyone pregnant, but if you do, make sure they're hot, and I'll see you all in the next video.